Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
All right, welcome in. Andrew Barber here with Drew Shipley. Another night of the Hawks Eye View. Drew, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing okay, Andrew. You know what? I think we've officially come upon soup season.
Soup season.
Season of soup. I made a soup tonight. Yeah. So
what soup is on the
So are you a fan of Olive Garden?
Yeah, I'm a fan. It's gone downhill recently, though. We got to talk about that. Olive Garden's fallen off a little bit.
Oh, no. This is terrible.
I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it. It's not like it's fallen off hard. I just feel like it's not as good as it used to be.
It's on hard times. But
yeah.
Anyway, the zuppa toscana. It's the potato and sausage soup, like cream-based soup. That's what I made. Whoa! It's 85 degrees there.
Yeah, you didn't know that we're in a heat wave in Iowa in October? It's going to be like 77 degrees at game time on Saturday.
Let's see. It's currently 58 in Rockville. The low is 40.
Yeah, we are having a heat wave in Iowa.
That's wild.
So, yeah. What kind of soup you got?
So it's like the zuppa toscana. It's the sausage.
Oh, the zuppa. Like the zuppa toscana. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. Kale. Yep.
Good stuff.
It was good. I always cut the potatoes too thin, and I always think I'm gonna overfill the Dutch oven that I put it in, but it always fits. It always fits, but I still cut them too thin. Yeah, I got to work on that.
All right. Well, you enjoy soup season, but yeah, we aren't sure if we're ever going to get a fall.
You're going to turn into a soup sandwich is what you're going to do.
I think what we're going to do is just go straight from like summer to winter. I think we're just going to skip fall altogether.
I kind of feel like we did that here in Maryland last winter. I don't feel like we had a fall at all.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe colder temperatures are ahead, and we'll hope for that. But I was kind of hoping that it would feel like, 60-some degrees on Saturday, maybe 50s even. I would have been much better with that. Now I got to worry about getting sunburnt in October. Yeah, I'm so pasty. I'm going to have to bring sunscreen with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going this weekend. I don't know if I said that officially on the podcast, but
you have now.
I have now. Yep. 11 a.m. kick, going early, going to be tailgating, going to have pretty decent seats. So
where do you tailgate at, Andrew?
We tailgate near the shot trailer. There's a shot trailer where you can free will donate to the Children's Hospital. It's maybe a couple blocks away from the stadium, right off of Melrose. So you walk over the little pedestrian bridge on Melrose, and then basically the next right, you take a right there, and it's There's like a house with like a big driveway and everything, and there's a trailer parked out there, and they offer you shots, and then you leave a free will donation.
Okay, that's cool.
And then they've got the big paddle boards where you can get a group of people together if you want, and take them together, or take them on your own. But yeah, so basically, you just all they ask is that you donate too. So, and I think they do food, and you donate money for food that they run out of that too. So it's a good deal. So
I mean, it's better to run out than have extras, right? Like you get your money's worth and you get out of there like without like having to worry about shit.
right. So I have not tailgated in this spot before. This is a new spot for the people that we go with. So this will be a new experience for me. So we'll see what it's all about. I've been by, but briefly. I haven't been there all day.
So we've tailgated in the Fink buying lot before, and we've tailgated in the dental lot up by Carver before.
Okay. Yep.
And then I can't remember the name of the lot. Like you walk by Dwayne Banks on the way to Kinnick. It sits on the top of a hill.
I know what you're talking. It's on the hill.
Yeah.
The hillside. Yeah.
That's the one we normally go to. But we've been to all kind of three of those that we usually go to in the fall. But I kind of missed the tailgate experience, if I'm being honest. We didn't renew our Washington Commanders tickets, so we're not even doing that out here, right? But
yeah.
But yeah, miss some fall Saturdays at Kinnick for sure.
Yeah, they're good. So this may be my only home game that I make it to this year. I don't know. Hopefully there's at least one more in the cards for me, but we'll see.
There you go.
But yeah, let's get into it. Last week, I think the result was maybe what we had expected, like not what we predicted on the show, but in the back of our mind, I think we could have expected something like that and wouldn't have been terribly shocked. But Drew, you and I were talking a lot back and forth during the game. Sorry, I was so boring. Sometimes I just zone out and I just try to watch because I'll end up watching the game through Twitter instead of actually watching on the TV.
Oh, jeez.
I hate that. So I'm trying not to do that. Not ignoring you during the games, Drew. I promise.
That's okay. It's okay, buddy. That's okay.
I promise. We are, I think, in agreement on fourth down decision making. I don't. So here's what I would like to ask. If we ever got a chance to ask Kirk Ferentz a question, if I got Kirk Ferentz a chance to ask Kirk a question after that game, what I would ask is I would go back to after the Iowa State game where someone asked him about the 2-point conversion and he cited analytics. Maybe you know where I'm going with this. And I would say 4th and 3, 4th and 1 around the 50 or on your opponent's side of the 50, the analytics say go for it on 4th and 5 or less. They say put your offense out there and go for it. That's what the analytics say. So why are we following the analytics for a 2-point conversion that in retrospect didn't make a lot of sense, I guess, but the analytics say go for it, and that's your reasoning?
Because I mean,
you're not following the analytics to the T.
So the 2-point conversion, right, is the worst thing that can happen. Well, I mean, technically, the worst thing that can happen is they return it for 2.
Right.
The worst thing that could happen, but you're not going to have a change in possession after the point after whatever it is, 1 point, 2 point, whatever. You're not going to have a change of possession in that scenario. However, when it's 4th and 18 inches on the Ohio State 45, and you got to have a first down 7-0. Like, I mean, here's the most maddening part about it, Andrew, is my question to Kirk Ferentz would be not just necessarily about this game, but just in general, just in football philosophy, of why you continually call a timeout to fucking punt the ball.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
How many fucking times has he called a timeout to punt the football?
Yeah, I mean, more than I can count. It happens so frequently that I don't even think about it almost anymore.
And then the one time he does fucking call it, we got it, by the way.
Yeah.
On
And,
the fake that everybody knew we were fucking running.
yeah, and it that's my thing is like if you're gonna fake it, but the analytics say go for it, why not just put your offense out there and go for it?
You're telling me Hayden, you telling me Hayden Large can't get 18 inches?
Yeah, well, I mean, we used to be able to just count on 4th and 1 on the quarterback sneak, 4th and 2 on a quarterback sneak.
Oh, the Nate Stanley days for sure.
The Nate Stanley days, the Tyler Linderbaum days too.
Shit, I mean, even Spencer Petras could get a yard.
Yeah. If you believe in Cade McNamara as much as he claims to believe in Cade McNamara, then you would put Cade McNamara out there and get a yard with Cade McNamara, or get 3 yards.
So bizarre.
With Cade McNamara, if you really believe in him, like you say you do to all of us, and maybe you say you do behind the scenes, then you're gonna go for it in those.
You're not playing to win the football game there. I mean,
right?
They were already to midfield 3 plays into that possession. It might have been 2. I can't remember.
The thing is, Ohio State's going to move the ball on you anyways.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, you saw how it unraveled with the turnovers and us giving them the ball. And you'll cite that as like what can happen when things go wrong. But that could have happened. That happened in situations where you weren't going for it on 4th down deep in your own territory.
Right.
That happened just in the normal course of a game. So why not have those mistakes happen while you're trying to be aggressive? That's
so I mean, so you asked me what the keys to the game were if Iowa was going to keep this close, right? Last week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said sustain drives, not turn the ball over, time of possession, right? Those are the three things I generally said, right?
Yeah.
Out first down, 21-10.
Yeah.
Okay. -1 in the turnover battle.
Which it seemed a lot worse than -1.
Honestly.
Because of when the turnovers happened and how it snowballed into Ohio State touchdowns.
Well, yeah, it's because what they did after it, right? Because we got 2 of them that ended up being in plus territory where we fucking started and still didn't manage to kick a field. Well, no, I take that back. We kicked 1 field goal we missed.
You don't. I'm not gonna blame Drew Stevens for anything. I see people like blaming Drew Stevens and saying, "Oh, you can't miss that field goal." I do not care that Drew Stevens missed that field goal.
Yeah, okay. You would rather lose 35-10 than 35-7. I mean,
right? Exactly.
It makes a fucking difference.
I care more about not going for it and not playing to win.
And by the way,
points means nothing. It means nothing.
The distance on that kick was good from like 65.
Yeah. It was just an accuracy deal.
Top third of the upright he hit, like in height.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He has NFL leg strength for a field goal kicker. He does.
But then the time of possession was 35-25 Ohio State. So, I mean, the keys of the game to keep it close. They lost every single statistic that I thought was key to the game. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a genius here, but those writings on the wall there, 21-10 first downs, probably didn't win the football game.
Lose the turnover battle.
-1 in the turnover battle against
the
top 5 team, probably didn't win the game.
Right.
So,
and it's not like I'm saying that if Iowa had gone for it in those 4th downs that they win the football game or anything like that. They maybe they don't even get the first downs in either of those scenarios, but at least we feel like they laid it all out on the line, Drew. That's the thing, is that we don't feel like they laid it all out there on the line. They didn't put all their cards on the table and just said, all right, we're going to do whatever we can to win. Whatever happens, happens. We've been okay with that.
I've called a lot of names that Saturday, and I'm not going to repeat them.
That's okay. You don't need to.
But that was chicken shit.
Right.
I mean, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Didn't play to win the game, played to not be embarrassed. Well, guess what? It was still 35-7. And all the pundits, all the writers, all the radio hosts, all the podcast hosts are all being like, well, there is some, glass half full things to take away from this game. The offense did look better. Really? Did we look better? 110 yards passing? 115 or what is that? 116 yards rushing. Okay, that was okay. I mean, the most of the rushing yards were in the fourth quarter with Caleb Johnson. So
and Sullivan 30-yard run.
Yeah. So I mean,
right.
Those are kind of skewed. I don't know where they get off saying, yeah, the offense has made improvement since Brian Ferentz last year. I don't see how you can get off with that statistically speaking. We started 3 different drives in the Ohio State plus territory, and you came away with 0 points on those drives.
Yeah. It's some of the same old problems that we saw.
Their narrative doesn't make any sense to me that they say the offense does look better. It does not. It doesn't.
Yeah, it looks. The only thing you can take away, if you're trying to go glass half full, is, well, Ohio State might be the best team in the country. They might have the best defense out there. Like that, for me, that's the glass half full is, well, you're probably not playing a team of Ohio State's caliber again this season.
No, you're not.
You're just not, because you can talk about, like, I think Ohio State, that might be one of the best college football teams that I can ever remember this year.
It should be for $20 million.
That's the other big part of the conversation that I wanted to get to is, like, Iowa can't compete with a team like that. We do not have the money, but for that kind of a thing, I just don't.
So, I don't want to call for like a salary cap per se, right? Because I mean, if your school is able to raise that kind of money, good on you. Maybe more like divisions based on what your fundraising amount comes to. Where your blue bloods and the first 24 teams or whatever that have a $10 million plus roster every fucking year is in the same. I don't know. And isn't the big what to do meeting in Nashville today between the Big Ten and the SEC? We haven't heard anything about that. Isn't that today?
I think it happened last week. We did hear a little something about it. They were pitched the idea of this thing called Project Rudy. Did you hear about this?
No, but it sounds funny. Does it have something to do with Notre Dame?
No, it has nothing to do with Notre Dame. It's a bunch of ex-Disney employees who have come up with this idea for like a 64 team college football league that basically just takes all the power conference teams, splits them into conferences, splits them into divisions within those conferences. It moves all these different teams around and kind of balances everything out basically, and basically just make and then, like, all those teams play each other in the non-conference and basically just take the group of 5 schools out of the equation is what it comes down to. It just puts the power conference schools into college football super league and then takes the like the American, the Mountain West, the MAC, and all those kinds of Sun Belt, all those kinds of conferences out of the equation. So
if you're so threatened that they get a combined 1 fucking team in the playoff, get over yourself. It's not college football anymore. I said this to you in a chat Saturday as well. Let's quit calling this college football. There's nothing college about this. They ain't going to fucking school. They're getting fucking paid $20 million to play football. That's what they're doing.
It's like an AAU setup. It's not football. It's something else. It's not college sports. It's something else entirely when you're talking about all that.
It's absolutely sick.
Yeah. And then, like, people have brought up, like, what there's just a lot we don't know. Like what makes someone eligible? Like it's clear that if you're bringing this up, it's not attached to the school. So then you don't need to be a student. So then what are the eligibility rules? Can a 29-year-old who didn't make the NFL show up and play in the Project Rudy League, for lack of a better word?
I mean,
Like,
I don't see why not. I mean, look at look at our punters. Like, wasn't Tory Taylor like fucking 28?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is will it be like a eligibility model like we have with the NCAA? Or will you be able to just play indefinitely? There's no graduation because you don't have to go to school.
Way out, or this might as well be like the AFL or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we need to know a lot more about all the details and understand this better. But like you said, it doesn't sound like college sports anymore.
There's nothing college about this.
Yeah, so
no,
that is where we're at right now. You got anything else about the Ohio State game, really?
No, and I'm not even mad about Ohio State. I mean, it's just the times we're living in. I just don't like them. Like how are teams of 3 million people, in your state supposed to compete with something like that? That's a national brand. I'm not going to as far as to say, well, it's not fair, because that's a sissy way out. Because we've beat these teams before when these players were still getting fucking paid when they weren't supposed to. Start with Maurice Clarett, for that matter.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush. What the fuck? So now that the fact, now everybody can do it. It's fair. Well, whatever. Like I'm not crying. I'm not crying foul here, but it's not. There's got to be something to the playing field that is not being considered, I guess.
The thing with it is though, like we beat Ohio State like we did in 2017, but it was a completely different era. And that's weird to say 7 years ago that it was a completely different era, but it was.
7 years ago, what was that? Was that Terry McLaurin?
Yeah, JT Barrett, Terry McLaurin, and I can't remember who else. But like Ohio State would they would get a lot of 5- and 4-star recruits. But
LeBron.
Okay, not going there right now. I'm going somewhere else with this. Sometimes those recruits would be misses, right? And they wouldn't. The transfer portal wasn't as big then as it is now. So Ohio State has filled in the gaps on their roster with the transfer portal prior to this season.
Sure.
So if you missed on recruits back in 2017, you didn't really have a way to remedy that in the offseason other than hoping that guys would improve. Or the next year's freshman class would improve your roster overall. Now you can get freshmen 5 and 4 stars if you're Ohio State, and then studs who have already proven it at this level who transferred in from the SEC or the Big 12 or other places to fill out your roster. So that is what's different, because you can already get the best of the established players who want to hit the transfer portal and take a chance at winning a national championship, as well as high school kids who want to go to Ohio State. And it's the same at Alabama. It's the same at Georgia. All those kinds of teams, they can fill in their roster with whatever they like. So Iowa doesn't maybe have that luxury. We've filled in our roster decently in the transfer portal. I hate to think with where we would be without a guy like Nick Jackson or Jacob Gill or,
Nick Jackson's kind of having a 6 year,
Yeah, I mean, It's tough when you're in the shadow of a great linebacker like Jay Higgins.
True.
So
True.
like the standard for Iowa linebackers is very high. So I don't want to say Nick Jackson's having a meh. Maybe meh compared to the standard for Iowa linebackers, maybe, but I think he's having a pretty good year. So I guess my whole point is like it's just different. Maybe we'd catch an Ohio State team with some gaps in their roster. Well, now those gaps are far less / maybe don't exist.
Like, I mean, how many scholarships do football programs get? Like 85?
Yeah, and then that's going out, but it's coming at the expense of the walk-on program. They're expanding the scholarship limit to like 115.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I want to say, but you don't get the walk-on program like you did before.
This shit should be completely the opposite. There should be no scholarship program if they're already getting fucking paid hundreds of thousands of dollars anyway. Because if you're making that money in scholarship, you're likely making just as much money, if not more, to pay for school.
The top guys are making bank. The bottom guys, the fringe guys on the roster, 80, the 70 through, the 50 through 85 guys probably aren't making a lot of money, Drew. Not at a place like Iowa. Maybe at places like Alabama, Ohio State. Who knows? But
my point is are the players 70 through 85 playing?
No.
Then what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Why do they need to be on scholarship if they're not even fucking playing?
Right. Well, I don't know. It's a complicated matter, really. So
I'm just saying there's got to be a better proportion here to who you're giving money to and who you're not.
There probably is, but I don't know. I don't know how we get there.
I mean, I know NIL is a free enterprise. I get that, which is the unfortunate part of that. But scholarships need to be going down, not up.
Well, I think what it comes down to is like revenue sharing, like the school's revenue sharing with the athletes. The conference's revenue sharing with the schools. But then again, that's not college. That's some sort of professional model for sports.
It's employment, yeah.
Yeah, it's at that point it's it's a professional league. Every athletic endeavor at the college level, as we know it, would become a professional league at that point.
And people are still going to watch it just because they love football, and they're still going to put on the still going to put on the black and gold, still going to put on,
Right, and that's me. I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to love it probably.
Yeah.
But anyways, we could go on for hours about that subject specifically.
Yeah,
but
we can.
I think we should hear from our sponsors and then come back and talk a little bit of this week's game.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing your home, or if it's simply time to renovate the one you're already living in, you need an experienced mortgage professional to help you analyze your financing options and to make sure the closing goes smoothly. And that's exactly what you get when you call Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Kyle's experience and expertise, coupled with Wintrust's rates and programs, ensures you'll get the mortgage that's right for you. You may even qualify for down payment assistance. Before you reach out to a realtor, Call Kyle and get pre-qualified, empowering you to start shopping for the home of your dreams. Call Kyle at 515-473-0546. Kyle Lehman Wintrust Mortgage, 515-473-0546. In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
All right, we're back. So this week, game against Washington, who I will admit I was very down on this preseason. They look a little bit better than expected. They're not great per se, but they're more towards the middle of the road in the Big Ten than I expected them to be. So that's fine. That's fine. I like them. I mean, they beat Michigan at home, which, if you want to talk about the quarterback situation at Iowa, the quarterback situation at Michigan might be an even bigger debacle than the one we have here at Iowa when it comes to the passing game, which is hard to believe. Michigan coming off a national championship, they have a bigger debacle quarterback than we do. But overall, impressed with the Washington Huskies. They give up 13 points per game, which is good for 10th in the country. Very similar to Iowa in points per game. They're actually a little bit lower than we are in that regard, 25.5. They're 4-2. And then, their signature win is beating a ranked Michigan team at home, number 10 at the time. They've gone down a bit. They crushed Northwestern, and they had a close loss to Rutgers. So Rutgers is a decent team as well. So it's not like this Washington team is world beaters, but they're 4-2. They have, for the most part, beat teams, maybe punched above their weight in that Michigan game, maybe lost a disappointing game to Rutgers. So they're kind of a mixed bag, kind of like Iowa. I think this is kind of an even matched game in a lot of ways, and thought maybe there was an outside chance that Washington would even be ranked, maybe just inside the top 25, but looks like they're just outside. Iowa outside, obviously, as well. But I'm looking forward to this matchup in Kinnick. I don't know if it'll say a whole lot, but I kind of feel the same way as I did before that Minnesota game, that this is sort of a must-win, Drew. Because Iowa, after this, they have pretty manageable schedule. I guess you just don't want to go into next week's night game against Michigan State being 500 and 0-2 in Big Ten, 1-2 in Big Ten play. You want to have a 2-1 record rolling in at 4-2 to Michigan State. I think that's the simplest way I can put it.
So I will say this, knowing what we know now, right? They're 3. Where are we at? We're 3-2 on the season. We've already had a bye.
Yeah.
I would project this team being closer to the 2014 disappointing team than, say, 2017 team post Rose Bowl debacle. I don't know. Like, I don't have a lot of hope. I don't have a lot of positivity going on with this football team. Will Rogers is no scrub back there at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he's top 40 in QBR in the entire country, 70.3, over 1,600 yards, 12 tutties and 1 interception. I mean, he's very, very efficient guy. I don't know. The thing that I like about this game is Washington's coming to Kinnick at 11 a.m.
Right.
It's the kick time that I think if we punch them in the throat in the morning when they're sleeping that they'll be defenseless.
Yeah.
For lack of a better, like, I don't know, connotation, I guess. Denzel Boston's their leading receiver. He's a freaking stud. 14.1 yards per freaking reception. 8 touchdowns on the year already. And he's only a sophomore, so I look forward to seeing who's going to match up on him. Might
Jamar.
be Bright. You think they really go one-on-one, like straight up with their best? Because Jamari Harris was not on what's that guy's Ohio State?
Jeremiah, no, because
Jeremiah.
Yeah,
that was nasty. Anyway, yeah, man. I think Washington's offense is good enough to make us have to score, and if they're a top 20 nationally defense thus far in a notoriously, in their history, poor defensive conference in the old Pac-12, like maybe they ride their defense like we do, like you said, like that's their, it's one of their strengths, but their offense is nothing to scoff at either. So I'm cautious going into this game. I don't even know if I'm going to pick them to win or pick Iowa to win at the end of this episode. I don't know. Everybody else is like a comfortable win, man. They'll bounce back. Kirk Ferentz's teams always get it when they gotta have it until you don't have it, Andrew. And like, I'm kind of into that. Like, what do we have? What we have is an ability to change the quarterback position to be more athletic, to keep the defenses honest.
Well, we have the ability. We just aren't exercising it.
Did I say ability? Yeah.
We have the decision to not.
Yeah, the indecision. Yeah. Okay. That's better wording. Okay.
Yeah.
To put the offense in a better position to win the football game.
Right. And so that's you mentioned a lot of guys. The other guy I would throw in there is Jonah Coleman. I know that Jay Higgins had a lot of good things to say about Jonah Coleman. Maybe taking a page out of Kirk's book there by talking up the opponent. But it's so funny to me when players say things like that is Kirk talking through the players. Like it's crazy. It's because they've been around him for so long.
Did Jay Higgins just call him by number? Yeah, number 15. He's a really good football player out there. Very explosive. Very.
No, I think he called him Jonah Coleman. He said he
said him by name. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he said he was one of the better running backs in the Big Ten and would probably get a lot more love if the Ohio State guys and Caleb Johnson didn't exist. So, yeah. So that's they're a balanced offense, I would say. I would say their numbers don't necessarily blow me away in any regard. And I think those numbers for Will Rogers are efficient, but maybe he hasn't faced a defense like a 2024 Iowa yet, because I think 2024 Iowa is probably the best defense that he will have played, and you're playing them in Kinnick. It's the Big Ten home opener, which is wild that we are almost in the middle of October and we haven't had the Big Ten home opener yet. When has that been the case? Isn't this one of the later Big Ten home openers for Iowa?
Yeah. I remember we opened the season with Indiana like 3 years ago. We opened the season with a top 10 game. Remember that?
2021. Yeah.
21. Yeah. Yeah. Very weird. Very weird that we're opening in mid-October. It gives you a lot of home games on the back end, though.
Yeah, we roughed up a pretty good quarterback on that one, a guy by name of Michael Penix.
That's right.
Riley Moss had 2 pick sixes.
That's crazy. In
one game against Michael Penix, we made him look awful. And then he transferred to Washington and became great. So
just kind of like Bo Nix transferred from Auburn when he was trash and then became a Heisman contender at Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. You seeing a pattern?
You go to the Pac-12. You go to the Pac-12 where they don't play defense.
Go to the West Coast. Well, now you're in the Big Ten. Yeah, I think I think Washington's very talented. They're very well coached. I think this is going to be a 4-quarter ball game. I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Iowa by any means. And like you said, I think it's get out to an early lead, preferably at least, get a touchdown on the board early. However that comes. I think you put your offense out there, and I think you assert your will on the ground. I don't know if, Michigan tried to do that last week. I think they did, and Washington was very successful in stuffing it up. And it wasn't until Michigan brought in Jack Tuttle, who was their third quarterback that they've tried, and he was able to find some success passing that Michigan even scored, really.
Yeah.
So we're going to need, the passing game to do something, which scares me. That scares me for this game. But and my question to you is if, it's a bad half and it's clear that Cade is going down a similar road to where we've seen before against every power conference that we've played before, which I don't have any evidence to say that he's not going to play that way.
The answer is no.
The answer is no, we're not switching quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We'll just take the loss.
Yep.
Would it take a loss to Washington for Kirk to finally make the change?
I don't think that. I think Kirk probably respects Washington. He would think that was a good loss. I think it'd be like. I think Washington's a good football team, which I do actually. I think Washington is a good football team. It's not like losing to Purdue, like we've done in the past at home. We've done that in October. I've been there.
Right.
So I mean, I think he would dress it up. I think he would, man, this team's gonna be in the top 25 tomorrow when the AP poll comes out, 5-2. Beat Michigan. I think he's gonna dress it up and sugarcoat it. If I'm being honest, Cade's making progress. Well, how long is fucking progress gonna be until you win a football game?
No,
or throw a touchdown against a Power 5 team.
I need to know what he meant by Cade's making progress. Your 6th-year quarterback can't be making progress. Not when you have a guy who we have seen win games at the Big Ten level on the bench behind him. It's not the usual, how sometimes it seems like every year Iowa fans are calling for the backup at some point.
Every year.
But this is different. This is different because the backup, it's not like other years where the backup is an unknown commodity. The backup is actually a known commodity. Like Brendan Sullivan has won games with his play at the Big Ten level. He was going to be the starter for Northwestern. You see what disarray Northwestern is in right now, not having Brendan Sullivan as their starting quarterback. It's not like and I'm not saying Brendan Sullivan is some world beater quarterback either. It's just that he has proven that he can win. Well, Kirk values winning. Brendan Sullivan can lead a Big Ten program to a win. He could lead Iowa to a win in this game. I would have full confidence.
He's by far the better athlete. I don't even think that's a question.
It. And that's it. That's exactly it. Is that the Iowa passing offense is what it is. It's not going to be good this year. Why not introduce the threat of the quarterback run to make the rushing offense even better? And it does in the red zone. When we unleash it in the red zone, we run the ball into the end zone.
Why is it okay in the red zone but not in the middle of the field on 4th and inches?
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like we talked about those 4th down attempts. I would have said 4th and 1. You don't risk Cade getting hurt. You understand Cade's athletic limitations with the leg injuries that he's had. Why not put Brendan Sullivan out there and let him, quarterback sneak or run some other sort of play? If you have confidence in him to do it in the red zone when it counts the most, why not on 4th and 1? Why not in other situations? And then we saw him again. It was against backups. So you can't put a lot of stock into what we saw on the Brendan Sullivan touchdown drive. But he made a 30-yard run and then followed it up by making an on-schedule play, throwing it to Luke Lachey, went for 12 yards and a first down. That's what we want out of the Iowa offense. It's an offense that moves the chains.
How much does the NIL? How much does Swarm pay Cade McNamara?
I don't know the number off the top of my head. There's been a lot of numbers thrown out there. There's been some misinformation by Iowa State fans that just made it to Iowa fans that were thrown out as the official number. I don't think there is an official number,
and there won't be because it's not a public entity. But
right,
I thought just the general consensus was $100,000, but that seems a little low, doesn't it?
Yeah, that $100,000 is low.
So I mean, I'm just saying.
If I had to guess,
how much?
$250.
I'm just saying at this point, isn't that money flushed? Like, I mean, your excuse to play him should no longer involve what NIL is committed to the kid.
I don't think that's Kirk's reasoning. I don't think Kirk uses that as reasoning. I think it's more so he values the leadership qualities of Cade McNamara, and his teammates keep voting him captain. They vote on those captains like that come out every week.
That's true.
So, but it's like, to me, the way I understand it is Cade's a little bit more of a vocal leader. Sullivan is kind of the more lead by example, maybe not as vocal kind of a guy. He obviously uses his voice out there on the field when he needs to as a quarterback, but he's not. Cade is more of the rah-rah, vocal, pump guys up kind of leader, and I think Kirk respects that and values that. But at some point, you got to think what gives the team the best chance to win, and to me, that's Brendan Sullivan being out there. But
no quarterback competition, none, zero.
That's what's so crazy to me is because we heard all offseason how Sullivan was there to push Cade. There's a real competition. And at the end of the day, we're sticking behind the guy. Maybe there's conversations going on behind the scenes that we don't know, Drew. But
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
And no rational human being can be like, yeah, Cade McNamara gives us this football team the best chance to win. No rational being can say that.
I tell you what, if I'm there on Saturday and Sullivan comes out for that first Iowa offensive series, I'm going to need another pair of shorts. I'm going to need a new pair of shorts because I will wet myself.
You know what's funny is you're going to be wearing shorts in the middle of October because it's going to be hot as shit.
I know. Well, it's not going to be – I think the high is 77, so it's going to be somewhere between 74 and 77. So it's not going to be overly hot.
Okay.
It's unseasonably warm.
That's a good day.
Yeah. And since we're getting there early in the morning, I think it won't be quite 70s when we get there at 7 a.m. to start tailgating.
So, it might be like mid 40s, upper 40s.
Hopefully, no, it's probably going to be somewhere in the 50s, 60s, which is fine. So I'm going to go from having my sweatshirt on to having my t-shirt and my shorts on.
Okay. All right.
It's an all right day. But yeah, I think offensively, I think it's find a way to establish Caleb Johnson. You couldn't really do it last week. He did get his touchdown ultimately, and that's fine. But I think kind of like what we saw against Minnesota with Caleb Johnson running wild, kind of want to see that again against Washington. Kind of want to see Caleb Johnson run wild. I mean, he ran wild against Iowa State too. So I think the Washington defense is good, but I don't think it's on the Ohio State level.
No.
I don't think. And I'm not sure. We will not see anybody defensively who's on the Ohio State level unless we somehow make it to the Big Ten championship and end up playing Ohio State again. We won't see it again.
So, I mean, if you wanted to be the glass half full kind of person, right? our 2 losses are to essentially 2 top 10 teams, right?
Essentially,
Iowa State's 11, but
yeah, until they fall this weekend, but that's fine.
you're such a hater.
It's all right. It's all right.
So I have a buddy I work with is from West Virginia, and he got tickets through the ROTC that we would have went with him Saturday, but the game is at 8:00 p.m. Man, it's just too late to take out a kid to clear out to West, because it's like a 3-hour drive to Morgantown from here.
Oh, okay.
Man, if it would have been a nooner or a mid afternoon, we would have definitely went. But that 8 p.m. kick, I'm like, oh God, that's late.
Yeah, that's too much.
I don't know, man. A lot of people picking West Virginia for sure, but especially the way they shellacked Oklahoma State, which is pretty weird. But I don't know.
It's kind of one of those things where the way I understand it is like West Virginia is kind of like going on the road there at night. It's kind of like going on the road to Kinnick at night, except a Redux version for the Big 12.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
It's like a poor man's version of that.
A poor man's version.
Yeah, it's like a poor man's version of that. So, yeah, I hope I didn't offend anyone by saying that, but that's actually, I hope I did, but that's okay.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, I don't know. To bring it all the way back, I'm excited about this weekend. I don't know how much a win says other than something about the team's ability to bounce back after maybe I think that would probably be the best thing about Iowa pulling out a win here is bouncing back after an ugly loss and giving yourself momentum heading into a nighttime showdown, because it's the primetime game. I think that got announced today, where it's the 6:30 p.m. NBC game at Michigan State. And again, I don't want to look ahead too far, but at Michigan State, I think that holds its own challenges because we've had trouble in East Lansing. I don't know if that Michigan State's a great team at all, and then you get home games against Northwestern and Wisconsin. You feel really good about your chances at home against both those teams, the way both of those teams have looked. Although Wisconsin put a beat down on Purdue, but everybody's going to put a beat down on Purdue because Purdue is bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've learned anything about this Wisconsin team through 5-6 weeks. I don't know if I know anything about them, if I'm being honest.
Well, here's what I know. They lost their starting quarterback, and their starting running back stepped away from the team.
Oh, perfect.
Chaz Malusi, or whatever, he was their leading running back. He stepped away from the team for, I can't remember what it was.
He didn't want to go to school anymore?
No, he had some sort of valid reason, but essentially the rumor is out there that he didn't like Luke Fickell anymore, so he was done with the team.
He seems like kind of an asshole, if we're being honest, but
yeah, this whole Luke Fickell thing is going to be really bad in the Wisconsin history.
Think so.
They're gonna look upon this and go, "What the heck are we doing? We should have just kept Bielema. We should have just."
It's gonna be worse than the Gary Anderson years.
That's what I'm saying. Is like this is gonna be ultimately worse because he tried to go air raid at Wisconsin, and that is not ever gonna work at Wisconsin.
No.
So the more these new hot name coaches come out and they're supposed to take over Kirk Ferentz's spot, the more they don't.
True.
Scott Frost, PJ Fleck, for the most part. I mean, other than that 1 year, like we dominate PJ Fleck.
Does that just say that we're more tolerant about being mediocre, though?
I don't know if that's the word, because we beat those.
Because I mean, Nebraska fired a 9-win Bo Pelini team.
Yeah, but he enraged the alumni base and the fan base with some of the things he said about him.
He wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong anyways. Yeah, you're right. He was right. It was offensive to them. And when you offend your big donor base, then obviously they're going to force you out the door. Doesn't matter what you've won.
That
I'm
poor
gonna force
guy.
you out.
Oh, you just
But-
hate to see it.
I can appreciate where you're going with the question. I think that's kind of the question as we go forward in the season, but like overall for the Iowa football program is what is the real expectation in this NIL era? And it's going to change again. Like I think the whole how players get paid will change, and so that will change everything again. But obviously at some point, like retirement is coming for Kirk, whether it's his choosing or maybe Beth Getz has to step in and say enough is enough. We'll let you go out on your own terms, kind of, but this is when it ends. I don't know. Hopefully not that route. Hopefully Kirk is able to go out on his own terms and go out on some sort of a high note, whatever that looks like.
Hopefully it's not a Hayden Fry farewell for sure.
Yeah.
You know, with this being the first year of the new Big Ten, I feel like you couldn't have stacked a schedule any easier than this. Like it's only going to get harder from here on in the Big Ten. So to not get a 9-10 win team out of this would be a huge disappointment. Huge.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, anything less than 9 wins would be a massive disappointment. I would even maybe be disappointed at 9. It depends on what that looks like.
True.
Which is crazy, but it's the reality of the schedule. So I don't know. I think that's what this game against Washington, why I'm saying there's a lot of urgency here, is because if we don't beat Washington, I feel like that's a signal that, hey, we're not winning 9 games probably this year.
Oh, there's no chance we're winning 9 games if we win.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to suddenly go 6-0.
No.
Wisconsin
would be in question. Nebraska would be in question for sure.
Yeah, Michigan State, I think, would even be in question. So yeah, I don't want to go down that road. I would feel a lot more confident. So, all right, Drew, you got anything else Iowa Hawkeye related before we make our picks and get out of here?
No, I'm ready for my pick, and I don't think that we're going to be on the same wavelength in this one.
I don't think we are either. But you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go Iowa with a 1-point win, 17-16, because Washington goes for 2 in the win and they do not convert. Instead of forcing overtime with the extra point, Jay Higgins, big stop at the goal line. 17-16 Iowa. That's what I'm going with.
So I'm fairly confident, other than like the game against Ohio State and the game against, the Big Ten championship against Michigan. I think those were the only 2 times I picked Iowa to lose.
Are you picking Iowa to lose?
I'm picking Iowa to lose.
Oh,
I've
man.
got a weird feeling, and it's going to be the death of me because I'm going to unfortunately witness it live. But there's something in me that just says Washington 23, Iowa 14.
That's like a convincing road win.
Yeah. And maybe we'll look back on this game and say, well, maybe that wasn't such a bad loss, but I won't try to spin it that way because that will feel like a terrible loss at the time, being 3-3. That's truly how it plays out. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think that Washington's balance on offense will put us into a situation where we have to throw to win the game. And
that's fair.
Not their balance on offense, their defense. I'm basing a lot of this on what they did against Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan's got a good running game with Edwards and Mullins. I love the Michigan running game. I think it's not as good as Iowa's this year, which is strange to say. I think Iowa has a better running game, but Washington has proven they can shut down a good running game. So, and that's Iowa's bread and butter. That's the whole crux of the offensive improvement right there is the running game.
Yeah.
So if Caleb Johnson isn't going for 150 yards and multiple touchdowns, we're not winning this game. And he might, and we might still lose this game because I think Washington.
Just like Iowa State.
Yeah. Yeah. And we might still lose this game. And maybe it's just a weird start to the first 6 games of the season going 3-3.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I don't know. I have no idea why I'm feeling this way, but I am.
You're feeling that way because you're gonna be there. You just have I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe I'm the turning point of the Iowa football season.
There you go.
I see the first 300 passing yard day and 3 touchdowns through the air. No, I'm not anticipating that at all.
There it is.
Yeah.
David Eichel.
Who knows? Who knows what I will see? But yeah, for now that's where I'm at. So
okay, we'll see.
Couple other quick things. We're still selling our t-shirts, Drew. If you're listening to this podcast, go to Three Beards Media, buy a Hawks Eye View t-shirt. Couple other future things that we've got going on tentatively in not next week, but in 2 weeks before the Northwestern week. I think we're gonna do our basketball preview and bring on a guest. We're gonna bring on Iowa Hoops Dave. I've asked him; he's tentatively agreed to come on the show and bless us with his basketball knowledge. Which I don't know if you follow Iowa Hoops Dave too closely, but that guy is actually a wealth of basketball knowledge. Like he can actually get in the weeds and talk about dribble handoffs, all this kind of stuff, like the actual plays, the actual in-depth like knowledge.
I look forward to that. Yes.
So that would be good to have him on for the basketball preview. And and then potentially live show.
Potentially
when you're here in Iowa for the
potentially live show.
Yeah, we don't know, location to be determined, but maybe we will be doing a live show. So if you're listening to this, we'll let you know when we figured out a location well in advance so that you can make plans to come hang out with us if you want to at a live recording of Hawks Eye View in November 7th. So November 7th, be on the lookout somewhere around the Des Moines metro. You will find a location to record live.
Yes.
So anything else before we call it a night?
I'm good, brother. I'm ready for Thursday night football. A little football on tonight.
Oh, hey, one quick note. I know that you all should listen to Teddy and Justin. Why am I blanking on the
Baldo
Why? My gosh, it's the best name ever. I had a brain fart. You bank on them for all your knowledge. The Bozo Parlay, you and I talked about this offline. This is an awesome concept. If you have a group chat, if you have a fantasy football league with people that you talk to regularly, you should implement this because every week what it is everybody in the league or group chat or whatever makes a pick for all the weekend's games, anything, Thursday through Monday night. You just make a pick. You can keep it NFL, you can go other sports, you can do whatever you want. Just make a pick for the weekend. And you combine them all into one parlay. And then after the weekend is over, if the parlay didn't work out, you vote on who missed the worst, and that person is the bozo. And you put like $10 down on this because they end up being wild parlays. So you put down like $10 collectively. Say you got 10 people, everybody just contributes $1 to the parlay. every week, and then you just
A 10-leg, $10 parlay is typically a 5-digit number somewhere.
yeah, and then you split the money if you want to, or you like if you're running a fantasy football league, you throw a huge blowout party at the end of the year or something.
There you go. I like it.
So if you end up hitting one throughout the season, you just throw a huge party or something, or you split the money, do whatever you want with the money. So been doing it with a group chat of mine. We got it going for this weekend. We're already sweating on Thursday night. I hate it.
What is it?
Well, we've got two guys who made picks for Thursday night. We've got Brandon Ayuk, 80 yards. We've got Jackson Smith and Jigba over 47.5 receiving yards. So we've got two wide receivers tonight. The last 2 weeks we've missed on Thursday night, so we haven't even gotten to sweat.
Haven't even got to Sunday.
We haven't even got to Sunday. My pick for this week is the big one, the over in Oregon, Ohio State.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say the over in the Ravens Commanders game because I would also like that one.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Oh, can we talk about how big of a week it is for Big Ten football? I know I keep rambling on. It's a huge week for college football overall, but Big Ten football too. Like Oregon, Ohio State is the game of the week.
Oh, for
easily.
sure.
Number 2, number 3. But then you've got like I got to pull it up real quick here. Penn State, USC is on there. I think Nebraska, Indiana is this week. Is that this week or is that next week?
I believe that's this week, yeah.
Yeah, No, it's not this week. It's next week.
No.
That's all right. Penn State, USC, Purdue visiting Illinois, Oregon, Ohio State, Northwestern Maryland, Washington, Iowa. But in the top 25, you've got the Red River rivalry going on at 2:30 there. You've got Ole Miss, LSU, and then the big one. So, yeah, you've got a lot of interesting games in college football this week. So
it should be a good Saturday. I'm going to the Maryland Renaissance Festival. So
there you go. That's a great time. That's a good Saturday.
It's supposed to be mid-70s here and sunny too. It'll be a perfect day for it. It'll be great.
There you go. All right. Well, we will let you all go, and we will see you back here next Thursday night as we hopefully come off of a win and preview the Michigan State game. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And as always, go Hawks.